CNCA families. My name is Adriana Abich, and I am the CEO of Camino Nuevo Charter Academy. As you can tell, I'm here at home because of the Safer at Home order by our mayor. I hope that you and your families are also safe and healthy at home during this time. I know that the closure has been very difficult for all of us. Many of you are not only taking care of your children, but you're also taking care of relatives and elders. Many of you are also working on the front lines in order to help others in our community. We thank you, and we hope that our distance learning plan that we have will help to support your children through this challenging time. We made this short video to answer your most frequently asked questions about remote learning. So I'll start with the first question. How long will our schools be closed? Our schools will be closed through the end of this school year, which is June 16th, 2020. And the reason why our schools are closed is really simple. We want to make sure that you, your children, and our staff members are safe. We've been meeting daily, monitoring the situation, reviewing updates from health officials, and we know that we must keep our schools closed. Extending social distancing and keeping students out of school is essential to slowing the spread of this virus and keeping everyone safe. It's also been the recommendation of our governor and our superintendent of public education that school be closed for the remainder of the year. Now, another concern or question that we've been hearing quite a bit is many of you are not familiar with a distance learning program. Can we give you more information about this? So yes, distance learning is a way of providing instruction when students cannot be physically in the same room together. Remote instruction will look different for students depending on their grade level, depending on their learning needs, and also depending on their access to technology in their home. Now, many of you have asked us, what if we don't have access to a laptop or internet? Will my child still be learning? And yes, as part of our planning, we sent out a survey. We made many phone calls to identify families that are in need of technology in the home. And so we are trying to attempt to support as many families as possible with access to Chromebooks. But we know that many more students will not need a laptop to engage in distance learning. Families without internet-connected devices will have the option to pick up learning packets every 2 weeks from their school. Teachers will also do outreach to these students to ensure that they have the support they need to complete the work. Examples of this outreach might include weekly phone calls with their teacher to review assignments and answer questions, interaction with their teacher to read instructions and text to students over the phone. We may also have students and/or parents take pictures of work and send those to their teacher for feedback and grading. Now, when does distance learning start for Camino Nuevo? Our distance learning program begins after spring break on April 13th. Starting Monday, students with access to the internet will receive specific instructions from their teachers on assignments and expectations for distance learning. That same day, students will also start contacting families who will agree to borrow a laptop from our schools. Laptop pickup will be on April 16th, which is Thursday of our return week. Families of students who do not need a laptop will be able to pick up paper learning packets on the same day, April 16th. You do not need to contact the school. We will contact you with more specific guidance. Now, many of you might be wondering, what is the expectation of your student during distance learning? So I will give you our goals for the first 2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks, we want students to reconnect with their teacher, their friends, and classmates. We want to take that time to also explain to students why we are not returning to our school buildings and how to keep our communities safe and healthy. We will also have students creating a schedule for themselves for when they will do schoolwork and when it will get completed and turned in. We will also guide our students on how to log in to Google Classroom and other independent learning programs. If you are using a paper packet, we want students to explain the process for returning that for feedback and grades. And we want to start in those first 2 weeks getting kids ready and working on assignments. So many of you also have to work during the day. And what will you do with your child and how will they complete their schoolwork while you're working? And so we understand that this is a very stressful time. You will receive communication that outlines your child's weekly expectations, as well as some suggestions for what a daily schedule might look like. Please work with your child to create a schedule that works for you and your family, and that allows your child to complete their schoolwork. You should also share that schedule with whomever is caring for your child while you are at work. Additionally, your child's teacher will remain in contact with you so that you are aware of how their remote learning is progressing. And so finally, the last question I'd like to address is, what if your child does not have access to a laptop at home? Now, as part of our planning, we made phone calls. We disseminated a survey, and we took that to identify families that are in need of technology in their home. And while we're attempting to support as many families as possible with access to Chromebooks, we know that some students will not need a laptop to engage in distance learning. Families without internet-connected devices will have the option to pick up learning packets every 2 weeks from their school site. Teachers will do outreach to these students to ensure that they support with the students' completion of work. Some of the examples of outreach that you can expect if you are doing paper packets are a weekly phone call from your teacher to explain new material, to review the week's assignments, and to answer any questions. You might also connect with the teacher so that they can read instructions or text over the phone to your child. We will also have you take pictures of student work to submit to your teacher for grading and feedback. So those are all the questions that we have now. We thank you so much for your time and your support of our schools. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you.